Hi, I'm Stina, and I'm going to show you some soldering tips and techniques and also some soldering tips for your iron. The first thing that you want to do is put your push pins in to hold your panel tightly together. Next thing that you'll do is take your flux and pour it into your cap so you're not contaminating your bottle by putting your flux brush in your bottle. And then you want to put flux on your project, and you want to get enough on there so your solder will stick. If you don't have enough flux on, your solder will not stick to your copper foil. Next thing that you want to do is wheel off about 6 inches of solder, and that's so it stays firm, so when you press against your iron, it'll be firm against your iron. And then you want to stay back a little ways from the edge of your panel, and that's so you can get the cane around your project. And you're going to hold your iron upright like a bicycle handle, so it needs to be like this. The tip will be upright like this. That puts a nice round bead on. Flat takes it off. So you want to remember upright for the bead, flat takes the solder off. So it'll be upright. Also, you want to be across the solder line. So you don't want to be right on the edge of it. You want to be across it. And try to stay 90 degrees to your solder line. And then feed your solder into the top of your iron. And then I'm going to swing my elbow out here so I can stay 90 degrees. And I'm also going to watch that pool of solder on the back of my iron. And that'll tell me when I need to pull my solder off. And then I'm coming off with my iron onto the glass and lifting up. When you pull off onto the glass, what happens is you don't end up with a big blob of solder on your joint or on where you've ended up. So the next thing that you'd want to do is melt your joint again, and then just feed your solder in. Again, swing your elbow in or out as need be, and then come off on the glass and lift up. Now, when you don't have enough solder on, it's going to turn flat like this, so you need to push farther in with your solder to get your bead to round up. So I'll just press more solder into my iron and then remelt that and come off on my glass. And then sometimes you have extra solder, so just shake it off and then wipe your tip. But don't hit your iron on your homosoap board because that could ruin your iron. Okay, if you have too much solder on, I'll put too much right here. That's because you've pressed too hard. So if you have too much like this, there's two things that you can do. You can either move it along by remelting it and just moving it down like this to get rid of it. Or if you have too much again, or you've got a big blob like that, wipe your tip and then set your tip down flat because that's going to take your solder off. And see how you drop solder there? Wipe your tip again. And just do that maybe 2 or 3 times, and then let this area cool. The solder is a metal and it holds heat, so you want to make sure that that area cools and you don't work it too much because that can crack your glass. So after you finish with your whole panel, you'd want to turn it over and solder the back side of your panel.